Yeah, we in the building.
The street life used to be on, straight up hustling till the break of dawn. Taught me how to do wrong right, everything is tight. But somehow things started to change. Try to get us straight up out of the game. You couldn't see what I saw. The empire was starting to fall. And everything that I said never seemed to get into your head. I tried to do the right thing, living my life with the words that I sing. Now tell me, I wanted to know what happened to my best friend. As days turn to weeks and weeks turn to years, I feel for my brother, feel for my brother. And as time passes by, I see it unsatisfied. Oh, I feel for my brother, feel for my brother. I miss you, man. You're my brother. I said I love you, babe. I won't forget you, no. Oh, no, no. Oh, no, no, no. Sometimes I feel life is cheap. Everything's disposable and so are we. Can you hear me? Life is real, yeah. And if there's a heaven above, please start showing a brother real love. Cause I wanna go home. Oh, I feel for my brother. I miss you, man. Oh, I feel for my brother. You're my brother. I feel for my brother. Oh, no, no. Feel for my brother. I wanna go home. I feel for my brother. I won't forget you, no. I feel for my brother. I feel for my brother. I feel. Oh, I feel for my brother. I feel for my brother.
Yeah, we almost there.
Oh, I feel for my brother. Feel for my brother. You know, a lot of my brothers are dead or gone, but they've been hanging on the block a little too long. What can I say? I hope they live to see a brighter day. And the ones that are doing fine, God bless you, cause you're doing fine. At the end of the day, don't forget about me. As days turn to weeks and weeks turn to years, oh, I feel for my brother. And as time passes by, I see you not satisfied. Oh, I feel for my brother.
Guys, you hear me in the headphones, yeah?
Feel
Okay.
for my brother.
You don't hear me talking to you? Yeah. So move the microphone closer to you. Or you should move closer to the microphone, probably. Yep, come on up.
Taught me how to do wrong right. Everything is tight. But somehow things started to change. Try to get us straight up out of the game. You couldn't see what I saw.
Oh. Okay. I hit the button. Wrong button, y'all. What's happening? So, once again, it is the One Nycha Show, and y'all know how we get down every Sunday at 4 p.m. And this Sunday, we are on time, so I'm feeling good about that. It is now raining in New York City. We're about, 47 degrees today? 47, 50? Yeah, but they say the sun's coming out later on this week. Not today. So we got to maintain, stay in the rain, try to stay dry, stay home, watch some movies and stuff. Or, as usual, tune into the One Nycha Show that we do every Sunday. I'm giving you a chance to get your watch party started. So make sure you share. Like, what's up, Lena Ray's in the building? She says, I'm here. Yeah, we happening in the house. That's for sure. Get your watch party started, yo. Also, y'all know this is a show that everyone participates. We like when y'all go into the chat room and get chatty in the chat room and talk and all that other stuff. Ask any questions you want. I got a big show today. It's crazy. Oh, I got a candidate. They're gonna love this. Y'all probably saw in the title, right? Y'all saw in the title. Okay. We're gonna deal with all of that. Because I know it was a name you had never seen before. It might look a little strange to you, but we address all those issues, don't we? All right. And I'm hitting the button. 1, 2, 3, and boom. Cracking the mics. All right, so here we are again, man. Oh, man, One Nycha every Sunday at 4 o'clock, and we're back for another week of the show. My week was, once again, it was pretty uneventful. You know, the other shows are doing really well. I went up to Hot 97 and did the basically sort of my tutorial of the console and stuff. So some other things are going to develop out of that. I can see that happening already, so that's dope. Last night, you know, crazy thing happened last night.
What happened last night, right?
What happened last night?
I pulled into the parking lot, right? So I went to
the fancy car.
Yeah. I pulled in the parking lot with the fancy new car, right?
Mm-hmm. Chick pickup car? No.
Yeah. Yes, the chick magnet ride, right? So I pulled in the parking lot, and there's 3 cars just like mine in the parking lot, and we're all parked.
Just like yours?
Yeah, just like, right? There was an orange one, there was a black one, there was me, and the guy had a green one, right? So I pull in, you know, and I pull up next to everybody. I said, you know, be part of the thing, you know. And it was actually a car club, actually.
Okay.
So the president of the car club comes over, and it's a female, and she says, you know, no disrespect, you know, but you know, you want to be down with the car club? And I was like, somebody wants me, right? And I'm like, I'm gonna be part of the car club. Could you understand something, right? I've never really been a part of anything, right? I always just create something, and then it's my thing, so to speak. So I'm never really a part of anything, you know. Even the job, I just create my own jobs, you know, because I'm not good at being a part of anything. So I was like, they want me, they really want me. So I was all hopped up about being part of the car club. So, you know,
All right.
I'm gonna do like car shows and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's gonna be nice.
Okay.
So Andre, how's your week? What's going on, mama?
Yeah, well, greetings all. Shout out to everyone that's watching and will watch us later, okay, and replay us later. My week, of course, was busy and blessed. Monday, the Social Justice Committee meeting with Community Board 8, which I co-chair, and I just must shout out my other co-chair, which is Sarah True. We do it together.
All right.
We had a discussion regarding police reform, and we passed a resolution, which has to go before the full board, so that's really good. On Tuesday, the Homes Isaacs Coalition, and others, I'm one of the co-founders, and others, we were at a powerful rally downtown to, speak out against the blueprint and all forms of privatization, excuse me. I was one of the speakers, and it was a really good rally. I must say, a great turnout of people. A lot of press was there. Actually, Take Root Justice, our lawyers, were part of the press release and everything. They helped out with that. Shout out, of course, to Justice for All. I know you'll talk more about it anyway.
Yes.
So that was really good. And I actually went live during the march on One Nycha on our page. So we got good coverage of it. So that was good. In that evening, on Tuesday, I was honored by Assemblywoman Rebecca Seawright with some other amazing women. We received the Woman of Distinction Award.
Great.
So that was good. So
Congratulations.
thank you. And then Wednesday, the Homes Isaacs Coalition hosted our District 5 New York City Council Forum. We had 7 candidates. Lakeisha Taylor and myself moderated it. We are still getting rave reviews about it.
Great.
I mean, people said they didn't know, what the city council does, and even the participants and just people that seen it and seen it later, they really loved it. So we did a great job. So I'm happy about that. Thursday, shout out to my cousin Bishop Hicks down in Florida. He attributed his word of the week on his platform, and he was speaking of me, you know, the work I do as a minister, you know, serving the people in activism. So I'm humbly honored that usually when people are minister or pastor speaking of you, you're in a casket. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're not incorporated in that. So that was very, that was very nice and like, wow. So Saturday, I was once again with Congresswoman Calla Maloney with her 12th district mayoral caucus. She has electeds and leaders on there, and we had Eric Adams on. So I think he dodged one of my questions. So, but it's okay.
Okay, Eric.
He dodged the housing. He dodged that one. He spoke about the homelessness.
He tends to do that.
But when it was about privatization, I'm like, wait a minute, you didn't answer my question. But he was only there. Here's a half-hour forum that she does. And then also the Homes Isaac Coalition, we gave out food and PPE, a big distribution. We have 5 faith-based organizations that come alongside us. And, you know, that was really great. So, of course, and our Isaac Center helps us out with that as well. So, Rock, you're going to give me some on this since you ain't giving nothing on nothing else. It's okay. He's a little tired today.
What? We won't give you
Wait. You gonna give me some on this one. So UES for BLM today is our 300th consecutive day since June 2nd. You did right.
I gotta get your horns too.
Our key speaker is the Reverend Gregory Seal Livingston. Y'all know him. We brought him here. We had him here. And I must say, we as well as others that are out there fighting for justice for Black Lives Matter, we are instrumental in seeing that 50A was repealed in New York. You know, and for those that are not familiar with 50A, it was a New York State civil rights law, you know, which shielded officers' disciplinary records from the public. Now, you know, it wasn't still after the repeal, not fully disclosed, but it's being disclosed. And then on Thursday, I must say the city council ended qualified immunity for police officers. So we got that. We got that under our belt. You know, for those that don't know what qualified immunity is, it shields state and local police from liability, and it really made it literally impossible to sue them civilly. So they're no longer under that cloak of immunity. So that's a big up for us that kept it to the streets.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, New York City's working on their police reform, which is on the way. So we're instrumental in that. And, on the 31st coming up, Lakeisha Taylor and myself will be honored by our center, the Isaac Center for Women History Month. So that's it. Yeah.
That was a big week.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I couldn't think. I needed an assistant.
I mean, like, how many people are you?
Yeah, I'm telling you, like,
she gets it done.
When I got to Thursday, I was like, Thursday's here, a little break. Yeah.
There you go. All right. So what's happening, Stan? What's going on with you?
Well, before I begin my week, I want to shout out to the woman on the panel. Today is the end of Women's History Month, and we got a great Sandra Coleman here who's been doing tremendous work for quite some time in our communities, you know, and oftentimes folks don't get recognized the way they should. So I want to say you've done great work.
Thank you.
And you definitely setting the tone for women all around the city, and the same for you, Badrun, you know, for representing our community. So I want to give you guys a big shout out for that. Yeah, my week was busy as well. I had an event, a campaign event over in Woodside, Sunnyside yesterday. There's a FIPS. FIPS is a slumlord, and he's been, the organization FIPS has been given the opportunity to build some more unaffordable housing. And they had a rally out there, and the building that they own in Woodside is falling apart. Looks not quite like Nycha, but bad. You know, it's horrible, right? And so, why would somebody who is a slumlord have the opportunity to go build another building and continue to make money? You know, when you haven't taken care of the building that you already had. So, my candidates or people that I'm running against, Jimmy Van Brammer and Donovan Richards, they both sort of backed the project. And they sort of sold the tenants out, you know. So they called me here to come and speak with some other candidates, and we was able to talk about the lack of affordable housing and why there's such a problem, and how the land use models in the city are broken. They need to be changed totally. You know, it does not represent the community. And then on Friday out in Queensbridge, Karen Lee came, an Asian woman, and she told me unfortunately she's been facing persecution. Somebody actually punched her in the face on the bus. You know, and this is somebody that does tremendous work in our community. And this is all based on Donald Trump's madness, calling it the COVID-19 a China virus, and now that's actually having an impact on folks. Like we saw the Asian folks that got shot
very difficult.
in Atlanta, and now people in our city are now going through this. So I just want to say we stand with the Asian community.
Yes.
We're all one people.
Yes, we are.
We cannot be divided that way. And the misinformation has really been damaging to a lot of people. So I definitely want to call that out. And I'm excited about my campaign. We get ready to start our petitioning soon. It's unfortunate that as an independent, they did not reduce the amount of petitions we got to get. Because they do not. We got to get 4,000. So we did not get a reduction. Which tells you why they really don't want independent candidates. So we understand what we're up against, but I believe we're going to have a powerful team and make some great things happen and shake up the city. So donate to my campaign if you're listening. Standforqueens.nyc.
Just a question. I'm sorry. You don't even have to switch the camera. With the independent, the petitions, can it be a Democrat or they have to be?
It can be anybody decide. Democrat, Republican.
That you need to let people know.
Exactly.
Right,
So for those, when I come to knock on your door,
that's right.
Which I'm going to be doing, you can sign. Whether you are Republican, Democrat, or whatever.
Awesome.
So you'll be seeing us out in the community really soon, starting that process.
Awesome.
And we're going to get on this ballot, and we're going to shake it up.
Congratulations, buddy.
We're tired of the same old politicians doing the same old thing. So
change the game.
Absolutely.
All right. And now, drum roll, please. I don't have a drum roll. Right. I introduced to you Badrun N. Khan. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
That is correct. Tell the people about yourself. Let's talk about what you're doing. I want to do it. Come on, I'm excited. Go ahead, go.
So, again, I'm Badrun Khan. I'm running in Council District 26.
Yes.
I grew up in the Lower East Side, Manhattan.
What part of 26? Where's that at? 26.
Okay, it's Sunnyside, Woodside, Long Island City, and part of Astoria.
I can vote for you then.
Oh my God, you're my voter. Yes.
I'm in Woodside.
Oh, perfect.
I live in Woodside.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. I like to know my candidates, so we good.
Yes.
You got my vote. Go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you. I grew up in the Lower East Side, and my parents came in the 60s. They were immigrants who came in, and they worked in restaurants, and they built their own restaurant and small businesses.
Great.
Shout out to them. They did a lot. We struggled as a family, and as you know, I grew up Muslim. I'm still Muslim, and we had a lot of obstacles growing up. And then we finally moved to Sunnyside, which I've been here since 1998.
Wow.
Okay.
And been with the community.
Come a little closer to the mic.
Oh, sorry. I've been in the community, plus I ran an organization, which is a Bangladeshi organization where my parents are from, which had 14,000 voters.
Wow.
I was the first female president.
Okay.
And I bought some burial spots. And during COVID time, we were able to bury people for free.
Wow. Nice.
Oh, wow. That's original.
Yeah.
It
I haven't heard that.
That's actually original. I never heard anybody
such a
go.
burden,
I brought some
people.
burial spots. Like,
Right.
I've never even heard.
Sad
of
to
that.
say.
It's sad to say, but it's
It was very
it's
sad, but people can't afford the burial
right.
spots.
Correct. Exactly. I mean, and people weren't even being buried in a lot of cases. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially early on, right?
Yeah.
Early on, they were they didn't know what to do. So.
And that was a really hard time. So we lost over about 400 people.
Wow.
So we were trying to find burials because I left that organization when I finished my term, and people call me and thank me like they didn't need to pay any funds, and the organization took over. That was something. It was absolutely. It was, even though it was a sad thing, but think about a family getting to be buried, or they had to wait 10 days, 15 days. So that's something that I accomplished. I think that was something that I'm really grateful for my family, my friends, and the community who actually helped us. Besides that, I have 2 girls. One goes to college.
Okay.
And I have a 15-year-old, and it's me and my family. We live in Woodside family. So I decided to run in November.
Okay.
And I actually ran before in Congress. I actually run against Ocasio-Cortez.
Okay.
I mean, she's a great woman, but sometimes I think people need to run in certain issues, certain platforms, and that's when community comes in and gets together. Okay, let's see what's the other side. I think every seat, everyone should have a competitor.
Yes,
Then we want to have someone there for 30 years and 40 years.
Exactly.
Proudly.
Right.
Many places, I think, not only in New York City, New York State, for example, Como.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
so I think it's time people need to change, and people need to understand, and people who work in the community knows the community. Like, I know the corner stores, I know the small businesses. I can tell you everything what everyone is suffering right now. So that was my inspiration to start. So I've been, inshallah, doing very well. got my petitions.
Okay.
Which
Good for
I
you.
think, I want to say something to Stan. I think they should have reduced the petition signature. They should have stopped it because
Absolutely.
it's going into a building is so difficult.
Yeah.
Right.
And how you don't know who has it. You don't know, and I was always afraid of my staff, so we were able to get our petitions through families, through friends, instead of knocking in doors. If we would knock in door, we told a family member, "Can you just walk into the building?" Because they know who has COVID, who doesn't, who's sick. So we did it to protect my family, my friends, anyone who's a volunteer. But I think Como should have stopped it. I don't know if you agree with me, Stan.
100% he
but
should have,
it was a very dangerous
Yeah,
thing.
just put everybody on the ballot.
Yeah,
I mean,
right. Let them
or
run.
at least really drastically reduce the number, right? So,
right.
yeah.
I know that's
crazy.
they reduced ours, but
Yeah,
you know,
but drastically.
Yeah.
I'm saying drastically, like, yeah.
It's just eliminated
What
it.
we got going on in the chat room, we got Sean Pgetame. I can't pronounce the last name. Says 100. You got Kalalu, which is Kim
That's
Tyree.
Kim Tyree. Hey, Kim.
Right. She said, hello, Cynthia Tibbs. Thank you so much for the tip. She said, it says Mike Jones over her head, which you did before. So I had to take that off because you're not Mike Jones, right? Yvette said, congrats on the car thing. And that's so far what's happening in the chat room. And I wanted to give everybody a quick shout out that's in the chat room.
Absolutely.
So your platform, what is your platform? What are you standing for? And,
Well, first of all, let's talk about Nycha. I have a lot of family in Nycha.
Well,
That's a big one.
yes.
I
Let's go.
stand. We should not privatize it. Absolutely not. And I think what issue is happening is we need to inform the people in Nycha. Some people don't understand. Some people may think privatizing is better for them. It's not. And I'm repeatedly telling everyone, any friends I know, family know, we need to put flyers out. We need to ask them, when it's privatized, landlords will kick you out. People don't understand. And when they invest money into these buildings, they want their investment back.
Of course.
That's
They want
it.
you out.
Yeah, no, and that's what I think as Nycha residents who I speak to a lot of people. Because I speak fluent Bengali, fluent Urdu and Hindi. I actually tell people because they're not getting the entire picture. So we need to spend time, flyers, explaining in different languages, how hard it would be for each and every one of you. But also, I think some of the people don't want to say anything because they're scared.
Yeah.
Like if you go into some of these apartments, it's horrendous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have, when you go chip paint, people are not clean, they're not fixing the stuff they need. Their sinks it's not working. And I think why some people don't complain, just when I've been seeing them, is they're just scared. Oh, what if the city or someone takes me out?
Right.
What if someone tells certain things? And
Being displaced.
that's what I think.
Yeah.
Even if
Even
someone
less.
moves out, they're like, oh, I can't tell them my daughter moved out because then they're going to take me out of the apartment. I see how afraid these people are.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think, and people think when they say when you privatize it, you're going to get better service. Yeah, they'll get better service. Maybe in 2 months you'll be out because they won't get their money back.
right.
And I think every mayoral candidate should stop privatizing Nycha.
Right.
I don't know
right.
if I think
Facts.
that's because I'm a big for it because I have family living there.
Right.
I actually go to these houses in Queensbridge. I have an uncle living there. I have a cousin who lives there, and she tells me, she's like, I'm afraid to say much. I'm like, why are you afraid? She's like, we're just afraid because first of all, they don't speak fluent English,
Right.
and what would happen to them if they do make concern. So I think when people go on any kind of rallies or any kind of pride, we need to knock on every door and find people who speak their language
Absolutely.
Of course.
and write it out in Bengali, Urdu, Hindi,
Yeah.
Chinese, any language we have.
Right.
We need
Y'all
to
been
make
good.
sure.
Yeah,
Y'all
we
been
need-
good with
we-
that.
We've
yeah.
we've done a little bit of that, but
Yeah.
we do got to get better.
More, yeah.
We've definitely reached out to a lot of the Asian community,
Right.
but now you're telling me there's a lot of Bangladesh and others in Nycha that we need to be reaching out to make sure that they're getting the information as
Right.
well. So we got to work on that.
Language
We gotta
barrier,
work on
yeah.
that.
Language barrier, and you know what? We have a very big Muslim community,
Right.
right? And we need to reach out. We need to put pamphlets in the mosques next to
Yeah, I was gonna say mosques,
the
yeah.
mosques are very big, and I think we all need to coordinate it with the mosque who's right next to the Nycha buildings
Right.
and work with them and connect to every leader in every community.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And I know you guys been doing that, but I talk to a lot of people because when you're running for a campaign, even if you don't, I've been a community person, so I run a lot. Like I take some people to the Medicaid, Medicare office and do their application for housing. So I I listen to a lot of these concerns, but I think our mayoral candidates, we have so many.
Right.
Oh, goodness.
Right.
We need
It's like
to.
26.
More than that.
No, I think in our district, City Council District 26, we have a very crowded house. Everybody's very nice, very respectful.
Right.
But also the mayoral candidates, everybody needs to come out and talk about Nycha.
Yeah.
And they've been ducking.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
I know Eric
Catherine
Adams.
Garcia,
It's
she's
kinda-
for privatization. So
It kind of brings me to a thing, right? Really, is this a train that's already left the station? Or is there a bigger entity, right, that is causing the privatization of Nycha that we're just not aware of? Because it seems like we're fighting, but there's like a long game, right? Of okay, you know what, y'all gonna fight, y'all can keep fighting, but we are waiting to wear you down.
the game
in the long game.
the
What
game
do we
is
got?
long, but the game is long from the fact that they have been disinvesting for decades.
For decades.
Okay.
So you're already behind the ball. You know what I'm saying? City, state, and federal government. Everybody puts money into Nycha, yes, but the disinvestment over the decades is why we are where we're at now. So what they're doing with the privatization is they're pushing off their responsibility.
Correct.
So when if you say the quote, it's 400,000, once they go into red, it's less. It's not 400. You know what I
Right.
mean? 400,000.
Right.
But we know it's like 600 or 700,000. But all of that decreases once they go on to red and all of these other privatization.
But I also think the budgets,
umbrellas.
they're not looking at the budgets. Like, okay, what happened? What is the expenditures? Why are the Nycha buildings not being, like most of the apartments not being fixed? Why do we have so many complaints? So people need to look at the budget. Okay, what's been happening to that funding? Now we need more funding to clean that up and fix all the Nycha building, not just in Queens, but if you see the whole city
whole
itself.
entire-
Like,
40
if you-
billion. It's like 40 billion
40
now.
billion, yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
But you know what? They need to invest that. Fix them
Immediately.
and
Invest it,
immediately,
yeah.
because the longer they're made, the longer it's going to be more expensive.
Absolutely.
Because when you're trying to do certain things, but when they're also fixing it, they need to make these more green also.
Right. So may I ask you that question? Do you
Retrofitting.
support
Okay,
Green New
okay.
Deal for Nychas? I know AOC's put that out there, and I know the movement school is pushing that. So do you support a Green New Deal for Nychas?
Yeah, we need solar panels. Why can't we get them? If they're investing money now, we need to put solar panels in right away. So it decreases, think about it, decreases the heating costs.
Right.
It decreasing everything too. Also good, when you see windows, if you see Nycha windows, some windows are broken. They're not even,
Right.
they're not good to keep sun in there. So when we do the funding, we need to put for greenery in the area. The best thing what they did, they put a lot of parks in there, but we need more plants. People need to fix it. And I'm fully for that because you know what? I want my children, your children, anybody who's growing up to be in a more safer, globally safer environment right now.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
in your district, what Nycha houses are in your district?
Queensbridge, Ravenwoods.
Oh, okay, that's part of your
the ones,
district.
the ones
Those
that,
two?
yeah,
Okay.
the ones I
Queensbridge
work in.
is the biggest.
The biggest, yeah.
Huge. Yeah, the biggest all over. Yeah.
I
You
know.
got a job, huh?
I've been walking.
It's a lot of votes.
And you got a lot of, you know what? And you got a lot of votes. Just saying. You know.
I think so. But you see, I think also people in Nycha, what I saw, they're looking for people who are community based, not very politician. I'm not a fresh politician. You know what? I'm from the community. I grew up. I'm a family of immigrants. I see the small business. I see everything that people suffer. I see how my parents suffer in after what was it? After September 11th, my mom was actually asked someone try to pull her scarf from the streets. Yeah.
Right,
So with
right.
the Asian hates, what's
they were doing
happening,
that, yeah.
it's so sad. So I understand how it is to feel when you're standing in front of your mother and I'm like, you know what are you saying?
Right.
And it's such a hard thing. Same to Black Lives Matter, stop the Asian hate. It's so sad that's still happening now these days.
It's gotten worse.
And you would
It's
think
gotten
that it
worse.
would be, you know, that it wouldn't be really, right? Because what I'm driving at is the people that are perpetrating these crimes, right? Let me just switch the camera. The people that are perpetrating these crimes, how old are they? How old are the perpetrators? That's what I want to ask.
I think you're getting all
They
ages.
range,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
range.
It range,
Look at the
Yeah.
insurrection.
Because you got
There's some of
right,
that.
because the millennials, as far as I know, are relatively timid. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
my generation, you know, in the 50s, you know, if you were born in the 60s and 70s, we're very aggressive people because we were we were in an aggressive situation. You know what I'm saying? We're aggressive, you know. So that's why I was kind of asking, you know, I mean, is it older people, you know, perpetrating that? Is it millennials? Like, what are we doing?
It broke my heart that the young lady Karen told me what she told me, you know, and how pervasive it is and how often it happens. I mean, it's not like an isolated incident. This is happening. It's a real thing. And it's incredible.
Well, Trump made people comfortable. He made them. It's okay to speak and to say and call people names and just be racist.
Absolutely.
It's okay. He just provided that. When the leader of your country tells you it's okay in different ways, it's okay.
Right.
See, I remember he came out in Flushing. You know, there's a big Asian community there. So sad, people didn't want to go into their store because I buy a lot of. My father has a sweet tooth, so I should pick up some sweets from there. One person told me at the counter, people don't want to come in here. I'm like, why not? He said, because of what Trump said, which is so sad. Like, it affects not only an individual, it affects a family, and it affects, it's like a trickling down effect.
So when he came out with the whole Muslim ban, did that created a lot of craziness in the community?
Of course, we were out, people were rallying because some family went out to these banned countries and they couldn't came back. We just was extremely sad. Yeah. And then Uber came out. Everybody was saying Uber, like he came out, then people stopped banning him. He shouldn't have done that. Taxi cabs, you know, that's a big one too. The medallion owners who are suffering. Also, I have a platform on that too that lives a lot in our community actually.
Right.
And these things came out. People were in doing rallies because some of my friends got stuck. And it hurts everybody when. These are American citizens who went in, and now doesn't matter if you're a green card holder, you're someone here, you have a visit visa, you have permission to come into this country. Why do that?
Right.
But he's been and that's the thing. And some people support him the way he does, and I just don't agree with that.
It's white supremacy.
It's too much.
They do not want to lose power. That's the bottom line. They do not want to lose power.
In the chat room, Salem Walker says solar panels are already being installed in Glenwood houses in Brooklyn. Kim Tyree says, we have the money for Nycha. We paid Greg Russ $400,000. So we have money for us and Nycha residents. Know what you said.
Correct.
Take your salary. That's what he said.
Get rid of him. Just get rid of him.
The 4 years, right? That'll be close to.
And Cynthia says, the long game is the mayor and REBNY.
Rabney.
Okay.
Well, that's the real estate board in New York that controls the majority of these elected officials. You know, once you receive money from them, you know, you are going to do their bidding. Yeah, and that's really what's happening, you know, for all these elected officials.
So that is like the Wizard of Oz. That's behind the curtain.
They control the strings. They control the strings for these puppet politicians who take that money.
That's what I was asking about it, because there's such a thing.
May I ask your educational background?
Sure. I finished college. I have a Bachelor of Arts from Marymount Manhattan College.
Okay.
I've been in the accounting industry about 25 years, and I am a financial controller at the South Bronx. It's a Sobro. I've been there about 2-3 years. Before that, I was in school. So I work for a nonprofit. Okay. So I work in the South Bronx. So I do a lot of budgeting. Okay. I do a lot of allocation for the South Bronx. Yeah. And
born and raised. Born and raised, you know what? Yeah. Not there no more, but I'm born and raised.
It's actually a great neighborhood. People think, South Bronx, but it's such a great neighborhood. I've been there. I go out there pretty much during COVID time. I actually was in the office because we do grants, SYP programs. Okay. We also have some buildings shelter buildings that we manage. It's a great. What they're doing in South Bronx is just amazing. I'm so proud to be there. So I'm the financial controller there, so I do all their books. Okay. And I was able to give some mascots in during the COVID time right down there when I was there. We did turkey. We do a lot of things for the community, so that was a good thing. So it kind of works with me in some way because I'm a community person too, because I give a lot of food out. During the COVID time last year, there was one building, which wasn't in my district when I did the election. It's in 36th Avenue and 29th Street. Uh-huh. In that building, almost, I think, 8 or 9 people passed away.
Lord have mercy. Wow.
I came down and I gave them food. we're such a rich country. That's what people say. Why do we have people needy of food, which really hurts me? Like, we should not have people not having food.
Yeah.
When school shut down, the biggest issue was kids were not getting
Absolutely.
fed.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, because that breakfast and lunch was,
And you know what? Everybody said we're so wealthy, we're so like United States, but then you know what? We have people not eating, which really gets to me sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the issue, and we are a wealthy country, there's no doubt about that, right? But we're a country built on capitalism. And if you're built on capitalism, you are morally barren, right? You're morally poor, right? Switzerland is a rich country, right? But they're not capitalist, right? Everybody eats. Everybody basically has money. You don't see homeless people on the street, right? Because they're socialists, because it's a socialist, right? And you don't see, these things happening in socialist societies. Us, capitalism, which is greed, right?
Yeah.
So money is everything, and you are morally bankrupt. That's what your problem is, and everything is. Instead of quality, everything is the cheapest bidder, right?
Right.
It goes to the lowest bidder, right? Not the quality of your work, right? You might be a great firm, right? Whatever it may be, but because you're the highest bidder, they go, no, we're not going to deal with you. Let's go with the cheap guy.
Right.
And then you're mad about the result.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got the cheap guy and you got cheap work. So
every day and night this happens.
100%. I mean, look at what they're doing in
The
Nycha.
vendor's always the cheapest.
It's always the cheapest.
And the worst.
And
That's
the
the
worst.
city.
And the worst.
That's the city.
Right. That's the city in general.
Yeah,
And then you complain about the service.
Right.
Like just for instance, in the city, right? The website.
Right.
It's got to be the worst website ever. Like that .gov website is got to be
Every website.
Yes.
Crashes, jams, right? Yeah.
Remember the unemployment website?
Oh my God.
That was just horrendous. My husband, we stopped. I'm like, I can't do anything because he's also, we have a medallion,
Right.
which, crushed the community. And he's out of work for almost a year and a half,
Wow.
which is another platform. We need to get some relief for those people who has $1 million on these.
Yeah.
And people cannot afford. People suicide.
So a medallion is what? Just to be clear.
Oh, sorry.
Yellow
So when you
cab.
go yellow cab,
Yes.
so you have to have a medallion. You either lease it to a driver,
Right.
or you have your own.
That you own it. Right.
Yeah. So these medallions were like worth almost $1 million. Now they're worth $60,000.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
They got beat up for a lot of reasons. One, the green cabs.
Actually, Uber.
Uber, right.
Mostly.
Uber's killing them, right? Because, like you said, in order for you to drive a cab, you had to get that medallion that goes on the car.
Right.
Right.
The yellow cab.
The yellow cab. And it was, worth, it was like house money, and then you passed it down to other people. Like the medallion was heavy. And that's how you made your money. And now they're worth $60,000.
$62,000. But then you have to understand the city has to do something. If you can't afford $1 million, remember what happened in the real estate in the 2008 the real estate area?
It was underground.
Yeah,
right,
it's the
undermarket.
same thing. They made it too high. People bought it. Yes, at that time the business was good. People bought it. And some people are people who couldn't do any other job. They knew how to do these jobs. They're losing their house. Some people suicided. They can't pay.
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah.
It's so bad. And if you see my district, there's a lot of people who are a medallion owner that have that. I mean, my husband didn't buy it for a lot of money, so he's one of the lucky ones.
Right.
But still, he had to pay for the insurance. He had to pay. Without working, you have to dash the funds out.
Right.
And the small business loans were not easy to get. If you're rich, you
For
got
certain
it.
people,
I
right?
know.
Yeah.
But if you're like don't understand how to fill it out, didn't have
Right.
enough paperwork, they got screwed. I'm
And
sorry.
that falls on some of the elected officials because
Right.
they should have been doing tutorials or helping out.
Yeah, but the banks never
people.
returned people's call back,
Right.
and the banks always look for people who had more money, more capital. And I applied for at least 50, 60 people. Maybe one or two got it or three got it.
Wow, I've heard the
But
same thing.
not only that business. So there's the printing business that people do. There's who actually the salon businesses are suffered their lives. So that's another platform I have. I actually want to do some sort of grants. The people who shut down, we need to give them grants from the city so they could reopen back up.
Beautiful. I like
Because
that.
if you go to Queensbridge, how many stores are closed?
Quite a bit.
But now opening that, getting rent, getting all that, you don't have that funds because people don't have jobs out there. So if the city, the state, federal government, everyone gives them like a boost and open them up, That would be that's another one that I do want to, hopefully, if we should pass that in city council.
Right. And
I think it's needed.
I agree with you. I mean, you walk around Woodside, and a lot of places, boarded up. The businesses. Look right here in Astoria, Lucille Roberts, huge. They had a huge storefront, gone.
Right.
There's nothing there. Most gyms, a lot of gyms, gone. That's people that were trainers and gym operators, right? A lot of restaurants that were on the brink before, COVID, gone. You know. And the reason why I'm in this building is because when I was in Brooklyn, and the COVID thing hit, and I couldn't afford to rent anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it was a blessing too, because now I'm closer to home. But I had to leave because it was and my landlord wasn't cutting me no husk.
Right.
He's like, I want this $1,500 a month. I'm like, how? No one is taking CPR classes, right? It's just not happening for me right now. And then eventually I had to leave. So in that neighborhood, I'm gone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's been that sort of a thing, and people are not opening back up.
If you go to Roosevelt Avenue, 69 in Woodside, you saw that?
Oh,
you know how many people there used to be? I have like several pizza stores that I love in the community because I try to eat in the restaurants. That's my big thing. We try to find restaurants in our neighborhood. Anything new open, that's like the first thing my brother was like, oh, this is new, let's go eat. Because we need to give money into within our community. But some of them are closed.
Sure. And not coming back.
That's right.
Like they're done.
But we need to bring them back. How we bring them back if the city gives them a certain funds to open, like opening capital.
I like that idea. That's a good idea. No. Because these are, you're not talking about big corporations. These is mom and pop stores.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? This is a community. Mom and pop stores.
Somebody's livelihood, like.
Sure.
Like some people had like a husband and wife running the space.
Sure.
But they couldn't get the loan because they couldn't give enough paperwork, who was in the payroll.
Right.
And that's what, sometimes when I remember someone in, Long Island, one of Trump's friends or relative, he got like certain amount of $1 million.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Easy.
And so now, in the upcoming stimulus package, are you still hearing that story happening? Are people receiving the monies now in this new stimulus package we got? Some of the small businesses?
They have. Some of them are applying. I think they're still applying till certain dates they have. But let's see what they get.
Right.
You don't know yet.
Right.
I want to address something in the chat room real quick. I just want to address something. So, I got to protect my candidate. Okay, hold on. Because someone said Lyft is great. Yes, she wasn't saying Lyft is bad. She was just saying what the result of Lyft was for the people that had medallions. That's all she was saying. So all you Lyft drivers out there that are watching, don't get all, get your stuff all in a bunch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. We're still cool with Lyft because we need your vote too, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I wanted to address that. Celine Walker said it's going to take 5 years before we're back to pre-pandemic levels. Kim Tyree says the landlords priced the folks out, which is interesting because the only businesses that thrived during the shutdown were liquor stores. That is true.
Oh, yes, they did. Oh, yes, they did. Oh, my goodness.
My man knew me on a first name basis.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go to the store. I come up and he just come and just bring me the bottle of vodka because he knew what it was. So he's right. They did thrive.
They did. Yeah. They made deliveries too.
Yeah. Commercial rents are skyrocketing. True. What I did notice is a lot of landlords are taking their properties off the market now, right? Because the market itself, the real estate market itself, is kind of bottoming out because of people leaving New York. A lot of things happen, right? A lot of people left New York, but then also there are a lot of available apartments because a lot of people died.
And also, you got a lot of these. Right.
So what the landlords are doing is rather than take the lesser rent, they're just pulling the apartments off of the market.
Right. Up. You can warehouse them, and it's speculation. It's gonna go up in value. They're just banking on it returning back to its proper value down the road, and they have enough money where they can do that, and it causes our community to suffer. So let me ask you this question: What are you gonna do to address the homeless issue in the district? It's gonna probably be skyrocketing. After this moratorium is over?
Well, first of all, let's talk about the homeless issues. The homeless issues is getting bigger is because people can't afford rent, right? Secondly, some people have mental health issues. That's where they're homeless.
Right.
Some people cannot afford it. So it's just not one thing how we do it. First of all, we need to find all the Nycha buildings and all the lower income housing that are empty and put these people in a house or in an apartment.
Right.
That's the one thing, because I have seen documents, there's all these apartments empty.
Yes.
But you're putting a family in a hotel. What does that make a child and family? Is that a hotel? Is that a home?
No, it's not.
They're not a part of a community.
Right.
And they're coming into a 2-bedroom. They don't have the activities of being a part of a community.
Right.
So one thing is, I do want something to be passed in City Council. Find all the homes that are empty in these buildings and put these people in home.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's one. Second thing is the mental health that challenging we're facing right now. We need to have more mental health clinic and have these people get treated somehow, because I think that's the big issue with the homeless people. Are because I live right next on 47th Street, and I see them. This person is pretty much talks all day. We give him some coffee or something. I always have done. And I think something happened in his life that he had to become homeless. He's a fine gentleman. He's not having any issue, but people are afraid of him because of the way he's living right now. But that falls on our politicians, that we need to create homes for these people. We keep on building affordable housing.
Yeah.
What's the one that's empty right now?
Yeah.
And do you know how many apartments are empty?
Yes, it's a huge.
Ben
huge
Kalos did
problem.
something
Do we have a number
right up on that.
Do we have a number on that?
There's an article that Ben Kalos put out to identifying a lot of the open apartments that are not being rented out by these in these luxury buildings
Right.
at that. Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't want someone in there
Yeah.
because they don't look like you, or they don't
Yeah.
their look doesn't achieve them, or when I see these people,
Mm-hmm.
and especially I think the women and children, you need to put them in places where they can become a home. When you see a new tenant coming in, do you ask them, are you homeless, or you do that? But when they're in a hotel, you're looked upon differently.
Right.
And do you know how much they pay for the hotels, I think?
3,000 or more.
Yeah.
Per person.
So isn't
Crazy.
that losing money in the city? Of
course.
Budgeting wise, I just think, and the hotel owners love it. I
Of
understand
course.
that.
Yes.
But also, you're not fixing the problem.
Right.
It's going to get bigger. Wait till Corona and people are not going back to the restaurants. And
Yeah.
the restaurant industry took a big hit.
Yeah.
The hotel industry, people traveling or people visiting Manhattan, New York City, everything took a travel. So I want to do something with that, with the homes. And the shelters also a big projects that we need to figure out how to do better projects. And we need to put shelters in the Upper East Side and in Park Slopes.
Well,
Why does it cap?
yeah.
There are shelters on the Upper East Side. People are not familiar.
Okay.
Because we do have them. I'm on the Upper East Side. We
Okay.
do have them on the Upper East Side. And I'm glad you brought that because it segues into what I wanted to say. On the Upper East Side where we're at, their building is being constructed. I don't know if it's like being rebuilt or just whatever, but it's a building coming up or already up, and they're just fixing it up. And they're going to put homeless people in there, single adult.
Okay.
Right? And then they'll have, if they need medication or whatever, all of that'll be done. But the beauty of it all is the people actually live in our community. They're already homeless in our community.
Right.
Okay.
And we're bringing them in there. And
Wonderful.
I'm on Community Board 8, so that had came up, and I spoke, and a few people, some people are against it. Some people in the community are so against it. And our councilmember Kalos had to tell them, do you know there's a shelter on such and such street? Do you know there's a shelter? Like, we have it here.
Right.
We also have another, I forgot what it's called, but they feed people and everything there. But they also have, they can get their mail there.
Right.
The homeless people can get their mail there. They can come, change their clothes.
Right.
And I mean, it's a whole lot. So Upper East Side,
Okay,
we do
have
have
that.
it. Yeah, we do have it.
I think Park Slopes then,
Yeah.
where Mayor lives.
Yeah, we do have
They
it.
need- and
Sure.
how about Grace Mansion? If
That's
they
right.
if they're putting everywhere else, they need to put it in places where you need to adjust. You can't just put it into certain communities. You need to put it in all communities and
Right.
work with
Well,
them.
they gave us a garbage dump too, so people
Right.
didn't want that. So the Upper East Side is not immune to not getting things.
Right.
Yeah, they do it.
In
But
the chat room right here, we're live. In the chat room, here it goes. Maria says, in Coney Island, we have new buildings that they say affordable, that they say are affordable, but affordable to who?
Nobody.
Not to
Nobody.
us seniors or people that are making $10,000 or $15,000 and can't afford what they consider affordable out in Coney
Yeah,
Island.
the whole thing is messed up.
Salem Walker
AMI
says
too.
it's called warehousing.
Yep.
They are withholding rents to raise the value, basically. And someone said that they're probably warehousing here it is, Renee Simone. She said they are most likely warehousing apartments for RAD conversions.
Well, yes, that's happening too.
Well, even in Long Island City, you can't afford it. They even say affordable housing is like $2,000 rent or something
Right.
like that. I don't know where it comes. I think they take the average from New York, all of New York. But if you go to New York State, if you go upstate, the income level is different.
Yes.
Right.
And you need to do it based on your area of the income difference. You can't just say, this is Long Island City, this is beautiful. Of course, Long Island City is beautiful. But you know what? The rent, then it's not affordable housing anymore.
Right.
And
whole,
I think,
the whole situation, that's AMI, and they should get rid of that. They should actually base affordable
But how is
housing
it
on-
based? Is it based on your exact community,
It is
or
not.
is it based
No,
order? Right,
yeah,
that's the
so
problem.
You may take
Right, that's the
somebody
problem.
from Westchester,
Right,
and
that's
put
the
their
problem.
their income into
That's the problem.
our neighborhoods. Right.
Right.
They should build it based on
Right.
the income in
Right.
that neighborhood.
Right, exactly, that's the problem.
It's skewed to be terrible. So
Yeah.
it's a broken system.
It is a broken system. So the next policy, school.
Okay, yeah.
And I want to kind of get into that with you because
Yes.
there's a problem that you're going to have down the road, and I'm just going to make you aware of it right now that is happening in our community, and it's the busing situation. The busing situation in our community is terrible, and I'm gonna tell you why it's terrible. Because they no longer have the matron. Remember, you had the bus driver and the matron on the bus, and the matron would take the kid off the bus, and so on and so forth. They don't really do that anymore, right? And that's kind of across the city. And the result of that is, number one, you got 52 kids on a bus, and the bus driver can't control them. So what's happening? Bullying is happening in the bus. For lack of a better word, molestation is happening on the back of back of the bus, right? And some of the kids are being dropped off without the parent being present.
Right.
And I'm talking about 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds. And believe me when I tell you, very personal issue for me because all of the above happened to my daughter, right?
Right, wow.
My daughter, they let her off the bus, and her mom wasn't there yet, hadn't gotten to the bus yet. They let her off the bus and drove off.
Wow.
My daughter's standing on Roosevelt and 58th over there near Donovan's bar.
Donovan Moss,
yeah,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
exactly. Right by herself.
That's outrageous.
That's outrageous.
Then the issue happened in the bus where something happened between my daughter and a little boy or a little girl or something. And that was an issue. And I went to town on it. But the big issue with that was everybody was trying to, you would think people would have been empathetic to the situation. Everybody I talked to was like, well, we're going to do this, we're going to look into that, and so on and so forth. And eventually I just
Gave you
ended
lip
up-
service.
They gave me lip service. And we had a big meeting in the school with the principal and all that, and nothing really was done. And I told him, I said, listen, you have all these people that don't have jobs. You can put a matron on every bus.
Yeah.
And give them jobs.
And give them jobs.
Right.
What are you talking about? I'm sure some parents would actually do it for free.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
That company. That company should be out of
That should be out of business.
They should definitely
Because somebody
be out
could
of
have
service.
snatched your child.
100%.
God.
And I had to shame them to make them stop doing that. So I had to take time out of my day to go along the route and watch the bus. That's what I would do. I'd
crazy.
watch the bus, and I let the bus driver know I was watching the bus. Every stop, I'd pull up right behind him. I go, yo, is this kid's parent here? It was like that kind of a thing. Because the unthinkable is your kid gets snatched.
Yeah.
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 You
know what I'm
can.
saying?
Yeah. So I have a similar issue with Board of Education. My both daughters have learning disabilities. We were not able to get, for both of them, they were not able to get the proper service they need. I had to fight with them, go to court with them. Then I put them into a private school that was funded by Board of Ed, because my daughter is in the dean's list
Great.
and she has dyslexia, but she was not getting her service properly. And that's where I think, in every part of the way, I think the public school system is failing kids.
Okay.
Normally, just a regular student, if you're smart, everybody pays attention. But some students may have certain disabilities. Some people just learn a little differently, right?
Correct.
And I think the budgeting of these kids are not working properly. And you have to understand the neighborhoods. This neighborhood gets more money. This neighborhood doesn't. Why it's not the same? That's one. and you have to understand certain neighbors are maybe their income wise are a little bit less, but they're not getting the proper teacher, they're not getting proper education. So I'm on my platform with education talking about your child. When COVID happened, they were only allowed 3 kids to be in the bus.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So what they did, they put 7 kids in the bus. They took my daughter from 29th Street to George Washington Heights.
Wow.
She's in the bus for 2 hours. I mean, my daughter is older now. She's 15. I called, they would not answer me. And I called them, I'm like, you are putting, there's 7 kids in the bus, which is not correct because it's COVID. And you're making each kid sit for 2 hours.
Ridiculous.
That's outrageous.
And it was outrageous, but the matron, she was nice. She called me and said, Ms. Khan, we have a problem. Like, what's the problem? She's like, there's 7 kids in the bus. And your kid has to send. So she came home. She got picked up at 2:45. She came home at 5:30, 5:45.
Wow.
And I called the bus. I called the city. The city said, we'll take care. I'm like, no. You're legally, if you guys don't do something, because same thing what you did, right? I did the same thing. Because you know what? I'm not putting my daughter in that bus when you have 7 kids.
Right.
And she's not going for a 3-hour ride.
Right.
So think about it. No child is in the bathroom.
Round trip.
Wow.
Too. Oh my gosh.
And no, there's no bathroom. She got picked up at 2:45, but my child is a little bit older. But there were other kids there.
Sure.
They were whining. Sit for 2.5 hours.
That's
Of
crazy.
course, yeah.
And
stuck in traffic.
That's
Oh my
what
gosh.
we need to. That needs to be revamped totally.
Yeah.
We need a matron in every bus, and I think we need to go out and make that happen because same thing what you said.
Right.
This matron is very nice. She really adores Anaya, my daughter, just because she gives them the respect and she checks on them. Now, if you have one bus driver and nobody's checking on them, then what happens? What if the kid opens the door, opens the
One
window?
bus driver, 52 kids.
That's outrageous.
Right? How do you deal with that?
Right.
Yeah, but I think the education needs to be revamped totally.
I agree with you because my son, he's now 13, he was diagnosed with autism, and I got put through a similar process where and here's the problem with that. When they're young, our system isn't designed to address the autism thing, right? Because you can be mildly autistic, right? Just kind of on the spectrum, which is what he is, right? He's kind of on the spectrum, misses social cues, really, really great at math. He feels deeply. He's that kid, and they thought that he was a bad kid actually in school. You know what I'm saying? And then I said, no. I said he's a great kid. I said, but he's misunderstood. He's great at home. He protects his sister, who was young at the time. And we had to sue the Board of Ed to get him into a specialized school that dealt with that. But up until then, we were paying $6,000 a month for him to go to that school.
I paid her tuition, not the tuition, just getting a teacher. But she's like, oh, your daughter can't read. She has to be in grade level G. She's not an F. And this F it made my daughter kind of nuts. She's 6 years old. She couldn't deal with it. And today, but you see, we can fight. We have the voices. But there's some people who cannot speak English well, and they don't know parents have rights. Right. The teacher did not like me because I was a big mouth. She told me, she's like, well, I think you created something. I'm like, no, you're failing my daughter.
Right.
And she doesn't know it's because she has some issues. So I took her out and actually paid to get a neuropsych done for her.
Yeah.
And her IQ is great. She just learns differently.
Right.
But I don't think the Board of Ed has any kind of budget, and they keep on decreasing that budget.
Sure. Yeah. Exactly. And they don't have a mechanism in place really for that. So if you have a child that has a learning disability, if you don't have the money to deal with that, and you gotta understand something, it's a ride. She's right. You got to get the neuropsych done, and then they make a recommendation, and then you might be paying for the school tuition until the suit with the Board of Ed it comes through, right, and then they give you the money back. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't have those resources to be able to do that, your child is stuck. You stuck in a bad situation.
And in the behavioral, when you have behavioral, so they always, so let's say it's a child who has a behavioral issue, right? And that, it's worse because then, I'm not smart enough. And that, what it comes to, it comes to where am I going to go? I can get a job, and that's where you get more into other drugs. You go out there. Oh, I'm not good enough for school. That's where it is.
Okay.
Prison system waiting for them.
Celine Walker says, "Do you have a Cash App for the show?" Yes, I do. Boardwalk Podcast. That is the Cash App for the One Night Show. It is Boardwalk Podcast, and it has the money sign, right? Money sign. Boardwalk Podcast, and you can donate if you want, to keep us on the air, right? I'm not ashamed to ask for money anymore. I was, but no more.
That's interesting.
I was listening to the radio today, and they were begging for money. I'm like, hey, you know what?
We might want to
Oh my
talk about
God.
that at some point, but I know there's things to talk about. But that's
So you can do it in Cash App if you want. Damn, the hour's up already.
I know. This was quite interesting. That's the thing. You need people who does more community outreach and understands each and other's issues and
Right.
what they're suffering.
Because we're not an island. You know what I'm saying? All of us have something going on. Really.
Well, I just want to. I know in District 26, there's so many candidates. So, what is your pathway to victory with all of these many candidates? Many of them that I know personally, and part of Justice for All. Some of them have been on our show.
Yeah.
So, what is your pathway to victory with this
agree.
crowded group of great people that are running?
I am knocking on doors, going to people, making phone calls. I'm presenting myself part of the community.
Okay.
That's what I think that everyone should do, because I think city council needs to know what restaurant you go to, what people you go to, what my people are suffering, what they need. And I think me being born in an immigrant small business family, also being Muslim, I think I have aspect of touching everybody's issues that's happening right now. I think that's what I think. And my victory of winning is I have a lot of volunteers who's working, making phone calls. And like you guys today, most people who watch the show now, they know about a candidate, Badrun Khan. And,
That's right.
And badrunkhan.com. Please go and visit my website.
Right, so how do they donate? How do they donate?
If they go on my website, you could donate right there.
Okay.
And the website is?
Spell it out for them.
It's BADRUNKHAN.com.
There you go. That's it. And you can donate. All right. And if you need to understand how to, she just spelled it, but it's her name. To anyone that speaks English, right? Looks like Badrun, right. That's how it look. BADRUN, Badrun, right? Because when I saw it on the fly, I was like, "What's her name?"
Yeah, no.
Which is great. You know why? Because
They remember my name.
I'm sure they do. Yeah, they can't forget it, right? They're like, "Oh, that candidate Badrun, yeah,
That's the thing. I want people to remember my name.
That's it." And I like how politics has changed. Really, you know what I'm saying? We no longer have candidates like Smith and Jones and those names, and now you have names like Khan,
become
right?
more diverse.
Listen,
We need
who
that.
thought, right, that we'd have a president named Barack? You know what I'm saying? It's like,
That was exciting.
I swear to God, he didn't have a chance. I'm like, Barack Obama. Wow.
Right.
There's no way he's gonna win, y'all.
It happens.
And it happened. So I
got reelected too.
I'm acknowledging it. You know what I'm saying? It's just so dope that we're seeing more diversity in politics now.
We need it.
Which is definitely necessary.
City council needs to be diverse. And I
It
think
makes up the city.
If with God grace, inshallah, if I win, I will be the first Muslim woman in city council.
All
Are you
right.
serious? Really?
I'm serious. There is
History.
That would be
We're
history.
making history.
Okay. That's a shame.
That's
then,
what
right?
there was one, I think Jackson was the first male, if I'm not mistaken. And we did some research and there is nobody.
Right.
That's pretty amazing.
We've been having firsts on the show
Yeah,
if
this
they
is
get
the-
in,
yeah,
right?
this is
Even
great.
with Taylor would be the first
Right.
black female.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're doing a lot of firsts.
A lot of
potential
firsts are happening on the One Night Show.
One night,
Yes.
And,
But we need people in Nycha to come out and vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Whatever they vote for, we want to do. The thing about these elections, we just need people to vote. Even the young generation, they love on Twitter and everything. But if you see the voting, still older people votes the most, I
Right.
think, right?
Yeah.
And we need to get our kids to it. I think 16-year-olds to start voting.
I mean, what I definitely think is I think that there's a need for politics and how politics is played and how politics is done. That should be a course in school, actually. They should be learning that.
Some schools do have it, but not these public schools.
Yeah, but not these public schools, right? But there should be a debate team.
Oh, yeah.
Right? There should be, for critical thinking.
Yeah.
I think some of that would actually cut down on violence, right? Because then you would speak with your mind,
Right.
and with your mouth, and with your thoughts and your ideas,
And not your fist.
your fists,
Right.
because
Ooh,
a lot of
that's
people, a lot of kids, they speak with their fists because they can't speak with their mind.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that needs to be introduced into schools, and I'm also part of a program that we're introducing. We're building recording studios and production studios in schools.
That's great.
You know what I'm saying, for the kids. One school out in Queens, we're building a television studio. The principal, her name is Jacko, very nice. She wanted for them to do the news. So we're building a studio that's kind of like this, but with television cameras, and then they have a mobile camera that they use.
Great.
And the kids are like the reporter at large, and each one learns the job, right?
Good stuff.
The camera person, then there's the one that's wearing the headphones and holding the mic, and they're doing all that. And these are new initiatives that now principals are taking up, to address the fact that the system that we now have in place is antiquated.
Yeah.
Right.
But see, I think the other programs too, with that's great. I think people, because I did a debate questions in my last election, I went to a city school. I could not believe how many kids asked me like, I was like shocked. We were all shocked. My whole campaign team was like, this is great. And I think that idea will be great, but also we need to invest more in after school programs.
100%.
Yes.
And you know what? Even in those after school programs, right? You could have the debate team after school program, right?
Right.
The sports, right? I mean, there's different things you can do to expand this thing. After school program, great for the parents.
Yes.
You working mom, you working dad, right? And your kid stays in school until 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, whatever the pickup time is. Gives you time to get home from work. I 100% agree with that.
They cut. That's the first thing they cut. You know that.
Yes,
Sports
that's
program
good,
they cut. They cut piano, art. Art is very important to have.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we need to allocate funds there.
Right. The arts, another big deal. The arts being cut and has been cut. And once again, if you learn to play an instrument, right, you're using your mind, right? Because when you play an instrument, that's math. You're learning math. Music is math.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So you're using your mind. Less violence.
It's
once
discipline
again.
also. You become more
You
disciplined.
become more disciplined in your
Absolutely.
practice and so on. Yeah, I
Like
agree.
if you play the piano, if you have AHDD, it's great for you to like it settles your mind in some way because I know my kids learned it, so it's really great for them. But also, I think
A lot of this is by design, though.
Yeah, well,
in our public schools,
Absolutely.
it's systemic.
I remember when I was younger. I mean, many years ago, I used to love playing with clay and do all that. They took all those out.
Right.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm going through some stuff. I'm kind of looking around. You know what I'm saying? And once again, you can donate, right, with the Cash App situation. If you want, you go to Boardwalk Podcast and you can send money, to keep the program going. A lot of people are enjoying the show, and that's cool. And I'm glad that they're enjoying the show. They really, Chapman's lit.
Yeah. It's
Chapman's
very,
lit.
very, very, very busy today.
We went about an hour 10.
Okay.
Mrs. Khan,
Mrs. Khan, yes.
candidate Khan.
Candidate Khan.
Yes.
26
26.
Yes.
District candidate Khan, yes.
that you can vote for.
Councilwoman
Yes.
Khan, yes. That we can vote for, yes.
That's my district too.
I want your phone number so I could keep on texting you and calling you.
Yeah, put them on your call list. That's right.
That's
how you do
by,
it.
By all means.
And we'll put your link in the chat as well.
Yeah, you surely
We'll
can, and
definitely do
you can
that.
definitely have my number. I mean, listen, I tell all the candidates, when you win, right, and there's a win, because it is a win. I speak things into existence. When you win, you are going to be on speed dial. I'm be like, Councilwoman Khan,
That's right.
I have a problem. Right? I'm that guy. Oh,
Help me now. Help me
wait,
now.
The mayor, right? Okay, watch. Eric Adams,
right.
hey.
Oh, okay.
You on one night shift.
That's right.
Right? So, you know, we have a good time with
I
it.
do have an event on the 9th. Just
Please,
can I
promote
tell
it
you?
right now.
It is in Astoria, 36th Avenue. We're doing a Muslim vote event that we want Muslim voters to have a say. And we want that event. It's going to be on the 9th. It's going to be about 1:30. We are giving complimentary food. And we're inviting everyone to come and just, mix with the community. I think that's really important to you could see because they're in that community, right? It's right down the block from Queensbridge, or sorry, Ravenwoods too.
Okay.
A lot of the people walk down there. It's at 12:30, April 9th. We are giving food. We are registering voters.
Nice.
And we just want like a nice gathering.
Okay.
Because we're a friendly group of people.
When is your election? When is your election day for you?
June 22.
June
22 is coming up.
Guys, we don't have a lot of time here. You know, I mean, June 22nd is around the corner.
Sure enough
For
is.
all intents and purposes, it's already April. We're already 4 months into the year already.
Yeah. Amazing.
So we need you to step your game up, get registered as voters. You know, the time is now. The time is now. Don't wait till tomorrow. The time is now. Make sure you come out to the event April 9th, right? To register to vote. We'll be there one night. You'll be there to support because June 22nd is around the corner. You know, so
Please come out. And I do want to say Passover is here. And people who are listening is Ramadan Mubarak. Ramadan is coming very soon. It's the biggest holiday for everyone.
Right.
And we are being recognized. So I think everyone should come in and, meet one another.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Bring our communities together.
We need to be together. We can
Right.
only fight the people, the white supremacists, if we all are together.
That's right.
And
The supremacists are just going to be.
Kim, she talked about shop classes. How we don't have shop classes. She just remember home economics, right?
More vocational classes.
Yep. Let me see. She said, "You got my vote from East Harlem," but that's
Well, look,
I'm sure he has family.
City council is city council. See, a lot of people, just because it's the district you're responsible for, there's committees and everything that they sit on. So city council members they still impact the whole city.
That's right.
Don't get it twisted.
Maria said, "I don't like when our elected officials just show up for a photo op."
That's all they
Yeah, we
do.
hate that. We hate that.
I want to give a big shout out to Jabed, who actually introduced me to you.
Okay.
And brought
Yes.
you to Queens. I saw him yesterday. He was driving a cab, and it was amazing to see him in the neighborhood. But I definitely want to say
Nice.
thanks for introducing you to me.
He's
at
a wonderful
Queensbridge.
person.
And
Yeah.
he does a lot of work in the community too. And he wants to come on the show. So
Okay.
Great, let's do it. So, anybody have anything else to say? If not, I'm
Yeah,
ready to
let
blast
me
off.
finish
Go ahead.
up. Please engage with the chat later. Go
Yes.
on Facebook and just interact with them. If they ask you any questions,
Of
that'll
course.
be good. We're trying to do that with the candidates now, encouraging them to engage with us. So I want to just let everyone know we have a guest coming on next week. Another city council. This is 3 weeks in a row, huh?
Yeah, well, yeah.
City council candidate Julie Menon, who's running for District 5.
Okay.
She is a heavy hitter. Okay, she was
Well,
the head of the census.
Apparently, I'm a big deal. Huh?
Yeah, she was the head of census. She was the head of census. She's been a commissioner throughout the city a few times.
Okay.
I mean, she's a lawyer. She's going to tell you what, she's a heavy hitter. So I'm glad to be bringing her on, and we're going to get that going next week. She'll be on
coming on
virtually.
person or virtually?
Most likely
Okay,
virtual,
all right.
but I'll double check.
all right.
All right, so we can lift off?
We can lift off,
Let's
baby.
lift off. One night to one
One night to
people.
one
One night to one people.
One
Hey.
people. One night to one people.
Yes.
Yeah.